I got this silicone mold from Michael's that I'm going to be working with, and I'm going to be using epoxy. I do feel like this is a really good beginner project. If you've never tried the epoxy before, I do encourage you to try it. I'm going to start by mixing equal parts of my part A and part B. I did 1 cup of each. I have a plastic measuring cup, and I'm going to stir it really well. You really want to go off the instructions. It's usually about 3 to 5 minutes. Again, this silicone mold flour came from Michael's. You can find these right in the baking section. And I'm going to start by adding some paint into the center of the flour. I'm going to be using some red and blue. There's some textured areas, and I'm just filling that texture with paint. Now, I do believe any paint should work. I am using Wise Owl chalk synthesis paint throughout this entire project. So I'm just rotating with the blue and the red in the center of the flour. And I'm just going to fill that in. Next, I have some red plastic cups that I'm going to fill with just a little bit of epoxy. So I'm taking the measuring cup and just dividing that amongst the different cups. My first cup, I'm going to be adding in some Wise Owl Snow Owl. This is the white chalk synthesis paint. I'm going to pour that in the center of the flour and in 3 petals of the flour. Now, you do not want to make this too thick. It will take longer to dry. I just make sure that there is a little thickness to it, and I try to keep the same thickness throughout the project. My second cup of epoxy, I'm going to use some Wise Owl Republic Red, and I'm going to pour that into 3 of the flower petals. Now for the remaining flower petals, I'm going to use some Wise Owl Anchor, and I'm going to pour the anchor into the remaining 3 petals. So now I have a red, white, and blue theme epoxy flower, and this is going to sit and dry overnight. And then you can remove it right from your mold the next morning. Now, some of the paint did stick to the top of the silicone mold, but it really did not affect my project at all. There's some design in the petals. I'm going to put some metallic gilding paint. This is the silver. And I'm going to brush it onto each petal and then just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. And that silver is going to grab in all the textured areas. You can use any color of your choice. You could pick something that maybe is a little brighter to you, but I like the thought of the silver metallic on this. I got this wood circle from Dollar Tree. I removed the hanger from it, and I'm going to paint it with some Wise Owl Smoky Quartz, and I gave this 1 good coat, and this is going to fully dry. Once everything was dry, I'm going to start with the center of my flower, and I'm going to glue everything down with some hot glue, and I will go around the center circle with the petals. I decided to move mine together like this. You can also leave a little space in between the pieces. I have these wood letters. I get these small ones from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to spell out family, faith, and freedom. They're just small, unfinished wood letters. And then I'm going to spray paint them with some white spray paint. I have 2 wood stars that I'm going to spray paint with a metallic silver. And then once that was all dry, I'm going to go around the bottom of my sign with my 3 words. And I'll put the stars in between the family, faith, and then faith and freedom. I glued those down with some hot glue, and then I'm going to add this beaded garland that you can also find at the Dollar Tree as the hanger. And I just tied that in place, and there we go. Now we just have this Americana flower decor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Paint products, tissue paper, transfers, and mesh stencils can all be found on our webpage at chalkitupfancy.com. And don't forget, you can also check out other tutorials over on our webpage. Have a great day.